Canada's third Prime Minister, John Sparrow Thompson, was, like his two predecessors, John A. Macdonald and John Abbott, a Conservative. He was born in 1845. He had been, since the 1880s at least, a Prime Minister in waiting. His talents had been considered so formidable. He did become Prime Minister in 1892 when John Abbott, who had acted, according to Jim Watts, a biographer of Canadian Prime Ministers, from John A. Macdonald to Brian Mulroney, had acted simply as a caretaker and had then resigned in 1892 to retire from active frontline politics. John Thompson was therefore only 47 years old when he became Prime Minister. Had he lived at least until his 60s or 70s, he might well have extended the Conservative Party's rule over Canada at the federal level. However, he was notably obese. According to his English language Wikipedia article, if I remember correctly, he was only 5 feet 7 inches or 170 centimeters tall, while his weight was up to 225 pounds or 102 kilograms. Therefore, he was a severely overweight man. In December 1894, he arrived to Britain to accept knighthood from the long-term British Queen Victoria, and then he sat down to eat breakfast with various other dignitaries at Windsor Castle when suddenly he fainted. He was carried to another room and given some brandy. He seemed to recover, and he already said that it seemed too foolish and weak to faint like this. Then he complained of a pain in his chest and slumped over dead. He was only 49 years old. Definitely his death came suddenly and early. Given his obesity, there is little reason to believe that he was assassinated, but very likely he died of natural causes. With him, according to Mr. Lotz, died any chance that the Conservatives would have many more years in power. Mackenzie Bowell succeeded him. He was an anti-Catholic and anti-liberal Conservative, and by early 1896 he had got himself into such a bad trouble that he had to resign. Then Charles Tupper, one of the fathers of the Canadian Confederation, took over, but he basically only received a summer job because Wilfrid Laurier led the Liberals to election victory later that year, and the Liberals would govern Canada until the autumn of 1911.